A very warm welcome to everyone who's joined us for the Lululemon Edinburgh in conversation with Run for Heroes. My name is Lynette Low. I am the Lululemon Run Ambassador for Edinburgh store, and I'm also the founder of the women's running community We Run Edinburgh. 2020 has been a tough year for many of us and hasn't really panned out how we expected. There's been a lot of obstacles and challenges ahead, but what has come out of this year has been some really inspiring stories. Today we're going to hear about how Run for Heroes was born. It was a simple campaign of run 5k, donate £5 and nominate 5 people, and this was all to go towards the NHS COVID-19 appeal. Today we're going to be hearing from Olivia, Alice and India about how the campaign was born. So for anyone who doesn't know you and hasn't heard about the Run for Heroes campaign, can you tell us about yourselves and how the campaign was born?
It happened on the first week of lockdown. I was back in Edinburgh and I was running around Arthur's Seat, which is like a beautiful landscape. And at the time I noticed how many people were out running, like it was pouring with rain. And I just thought, why don't we just pay to go on our daily form of exercise? At the time, 5k was in the exercise guidelines, give or take how quickly you run a 5k in. Yeah. And £5 was a reasonable amount of money to ask. And if we nominated 5 people, hopefully it would continue to spread. So I kind of stopped mid-run and I was like, oh, maybe I could just set up a fundraising page when I get home. Got back home from the run, drenched, and kind of fired out some ideas to my girls from home, girlfriend group from home, and just said, I'm thinking about starting up this campaign. Do you have any ideas for names? Hence, Alice coming in.
Yeah, so then we were just brainstorming about names, and I suggested like 5 for the Fearless, 5 for Lives, Run for Heroes. And then when I said Run for Heroes, Olivia was like, yeah, sorted, Run for Heroes.
So checked if it was available on Instagram, it was. And yeah, set up a fundraising page. And I was like, I know what we could do. Maybe we've got I need to get a logo, because the one that I'd did was so bad. Like, I'd drawn it on, no joke, on Instagram story, like coloured it in, put run for Heroes. It was awful. And I was like, who could be really good at this? And I was like, the only person I know would be absolutely epic at doing any branding stuff would be India, who I hadn't spoken to for like a really long time.
You hadn't spoken in like 5 years.
And
yeah, and then so Olivia got in touch and asked me to make a logo. And I was also home for lockdown, but I was working full time, and I thought, I was like, oh, I don't have any time, Olivia. I don't think I can do this. Little did I know that it would be like our entire life for the next month. Yeah, I made a logo. It was really good fun. Then I started creating little GIFs. And then I was like, oh, you know what, Olivia, for the people that aren't on Instagram, let's make a website. And then the next thing we knew, we were making milestone graphics, and yeah. And then it just kind of took off, and I was drawing all day, every day for a month. It was great.
And how did you come up with the run, donate, nominate, and the iconic high five?
Yeah, so, well, the run and donate came up on the run, and I was saying run, donate, share. And my brother and I sat down, because when I got back home, I set up this Instagram account. On the Saturday, I went out on a run with my sister, and we got back that day and we tagged loads of people. And at the time, I genuinely tagged every single person in my friendship group. Like, I've still got the original posts. And it wasn't 5, I tagged like 20 people, maybe 30 people. And my brother and I were like, oh, run, donate, share, run, donate, share. It doesn't really, there's something that doesn't really work in it. And, kudos to my brother. He was like, what about run, donate, nominate? And I was like, oh, run, donate, nominate 5. So it could just be 5, 5, 5. So that actually happened on the Saturday. And then people that I'd nominated started to repost, tag us on Instagram. And at that point, my friend Stephen put up a picture and he did like this in it. And my sister and I were like, that's amazing. That's like 5. That could be our iconic thing. Let's only post those pictures on Instagram from now on. So the grid pictures that we posted just had the 5, which meant ultimately people started picking up on it and did the same. Hilariously, though, I've always given Stephen the credit for it. And about a month ago, he was like, I've got a confession. I was just doing this in the picture. I didn't realise that it was the 5. But great that we used it going forward. So it's still thanks to him that came about. And it was our signature kind of look for the rest of the campaign.
And you started with a target of £5,000, and you've now helped to raise over 7 million. How quickly did the momentum grow, and when did you realise the campaign was becoming more viral and reaching as far as it did?
I think for me it was Easter weekend. I'd been doing the artwork for it, and it had been kind of slow and fun, and well, I say slow, it wasn't slow, but it was there was time to do things. We were spending kind of days on pieces of artwork, and we did one for 5,000, for 10,000, and that was kind of over the course of 5-10 days. But then Easter weekend was the weekend that it kind of blew up, I think. And at the beginning of the weekend, we did a little Easter-themed graphic, and it was 250,000, and then it went from 250 to 1 million, and then there was this moment where we were like, are we going to actually have enough time to make a 2 million one? Because we made 1 million in 24 hours. And I think it was at that point we all sat back, and we didn't do a video call or anything in this time. We hadn't had a chance. And at that moment we were like, what do we do? We've just made like £2 million and we've not even like stopped to breathe yet. So yeah, I think that was the weekend for me.
Yeah, I think for me as well, because I got involved with helping out with the PR and kind of comms around the campaign when I think it was about 5k. And so I kind of started pitching out the story to kind of regional Scottish press, which was amazing to see them kind of cover Edinburgh Girl runs 5k and raises £5,000. And then from there, the media coverage was just growing and growing. And I think I really kind of thought that it was going viral when there was just endless media requests for ITV News, Sky News, Channel 4, and it was everywhere. So I think going from like just one little press release to having to send out press release after press release when we reached all the milestones was just kind of, wow, this is really taking off.
And none of you, I think, have come from a campaign background. What were some of the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, well, I definitely, don't come from a campaign background, which was lovely about it because we did stuff in a different way, I suppose. We thought about stuff in a different way. We all used our skills. The thing is, even if we didn't come from a campaign background, we had definite skills that we could bring in. So India is, she is a designer in her day job, and Alice is PR, works in PR. So we kind of used those skills and trusted each other massively and gave each other so much trust. So if India sent over any artwork, I didn't question it. It was just like, great, this is wonderful, let's put it up. And the same as Alice. Alice did an unbelievable job of pushing it out. And I think that we used those skills to the best of our abilities. But yeah, I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, I do agree. But I also think that it was a challenging time for everyone, that everyone was adjusting to this completely new way of, everyone was like working from home, or they weren't working at all, and everyone was adjusting to this kind of new life. And I think that for me, I was very grateful that I still had a job. And I know there was people around me that were losing their jobs, or they'd been furloughed, but I was trying to juggle a viral campaign that we obviously hadn't anticipated, and then also working full time. So I think for me that was a bit of an adjustment, and I was working kind of all hours of the day. And we're on Instagram promoting mental health, and I'm like, oh my God, I've not slept.
Yeah, that's true actually.
Yeah.
And like I'd been put down to a 2-day week, which is why I had this extra time. But I do remember there was one stage that my boss I was like, I actually haven't done any work today. So I've just been on Instagram reposting people's pictures.
Yeah, I think when we first started out, we never expected it to become a viral campaign. So I think it was just kind of, we had our skills, but it was just making the time to really put them to good use. So, I mean, it didn't just happen easily. Like, we were working long days and constant WhatsApp messages and brainstorms to each other. So yeah, it was just kind of not winging it, but in a way just having to respond as fast as we could to the growing momentum.
So the campaign has attracted some high-profile participants. Who gave you the proper like pinch me moment?
For me, I'm not very good with the celebrities. I was like, who is that? I don't understand what's going on. But I think the craziest thing was Olivia had been interviewed for, I think, Sky News about the campaign. So we all tuned in to watch it. And then, completely unbeknownst to us, Mo Farah was being interviewed about it. And we didn't know. And then he's live on the news nominating other people to get involved. And we're like, what? Mo Farah knows about it? Like, how's that happened? So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think, honestly, we didn't contact any celebrities, which I think was the incredible part about the campaign. It was totally organic. So anybody that was doing it that was like had a blue tick, I was like, ooh, this is so exciting. But like, I mean, from people like Ellie Goulding to Mo Farah to Romeo Beckham, we didn't even know Romeo Beckham had done it. It was all incredible, and it was also just incredible to see people that I didn't know, which sounds ridiculous. Like, it was like 3 days in, I started getting tagged by people, or Run for Heroes got tagged by people that I had no idea who they were, and I was like, oh, that's cool. How did it get to them? Or when somebody like Ellie Goulding or Jimmy Carr did it, it was like, how is it started from like the tags that I did in an Edinburgh-based, like, and London-based probably communities? How many separate like degrees of separation are you away from these people? Because how did it even get to those people? And it's like
people all over the world as well. There was people like in Australia, and like, we're like, how did it get all the way across the world? That's crazy. We set up actually at one point. We set up fundraisers for different countries because other people were wanting to get involved, but obviously they don't have the NHS, so they were setting up their own little mini fundraisers as well on the side, which was pretty cool.
And was there anybody that like friends and family that you've always loved to get out for a run but have never done it before, and then because of the campaign they got involved?
Well, I mean, my 99-year-old granddad did it.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, he definitely didn't run. Bless him. I think he more scooted. But that was the good thing about the campaign. It was totally all inclusive. People with severe disabilities were able to get involved because they could take the challenge onto themselves, and we really tried to push that and celebrate those people, because ultimately we didn't just ask people to run 5K. It was like walk, roll, ride, do whatever. Somebody in Tanzania horse rode through the bush. I mean, that was quite cool. But that was really important message in the campaign for people that are 99. They can still be able to participate if they just donate £5 and do something around the 5 theme. But yeah, Alice, I know you had a couple of people you were impressed with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. Mo Farah was a pinch me moment, and then just seeing kind of other athletes like Jessica Ennis-Hill, like it's just someone so credible and really kind of getting involved. And then it was just amazing as well to see they looked like they were having genuine fun with it, and they were doing it because they wanted to help. And you saw people like Nick Grimshaw just running to go see Clara Amfo, and they were just like taking selfies. It was just really fun to see that we kind of created that moment for them as well. Yeah, it was cool to see.
So with the 7 million, how are the funds being distributed?
So yeah, we all the money went to NHS Charities Together COVID-19 appeal, and they put out an appeal at the very beginning of lockdown to help the well-being and the welfare of the NHS workers. So it wasn't going towards like equipment or anything. It was about their mental health, what things we could raise money for so that the NHS workers' lives were a little easier. And I think it's a really important part, because at the beginning of the campaign, when I said that the work had gone down to a 2-day week, I'd seen loads of my friends who work at the NHS were working like 14-hour days and things. So I was like, this doesn't seem fair. Like, how can we help? So from my understanding, all the money's been distributed now. And it was during, the hardest bits, and they just did put things in hospitals, like sleep pods that they could go and have like 30-minute rest, to health and wellbeing packs, health and wellbeing support, which, went a huge way in making their lives a little easier.
Great seeing all the hard work that you've done, seeing how it's being been spread out, so it's good. So in May, Run for Heroes was awarded the Point of Light Award for Outstanding Volunteering. Can you explain a little bit about Point of Light Award?
The Point of Light Award is an award that the government give for outstanding volunteering, and they put out a special awards for people that helped during the COVID appeal, which was great. So Captain Tom got the first one, Run for Heroes got the second. I don't know who got the third, but for the government to kind of celebrate campaigns that had done that, just gave everybody else, I suppose, maybe like a little bit of momentum, and it gave us a small glimpse of hope at a time that was otherwise, you know, really difficult for so many. And I think it was just nice to be recognised for it.
Yeah,
and it was, I think, as well, there were a lot of people that were out of work, and I think we all felt a little bit helpless as well. Obviously we had like, the daily briefings, and we were very aware of the NHS, and everyone kind of felt like, oh, these people are working so much, and what can we do to help? And I think, yeah, it was really like a testament to the British public, watching everyone come together and just doing like a really small bit, like, donating £5 for, we weren't asking one person to run a marathon and raise millions independently. So I think it was very encouraging seeing everybody come together, and it was lovely to be recognised for it. It was great.
Yeah, it was just such an honour as well to be recognised alongside the likes of Captain Tom, who just so many other people that we really thought were heroes. So to be kind of receive the same award as them was just such an honour for us.
And on a personal note, Olivia, you were awarded the MBE on the Queen's birthday in recognition of your role as founder of Run for Heroes and the services to raising funds for COVID-19. How does it feel to have the MBE?
I mean, it was so incredible to see. Definitely the hardest secret I've ever had to keep, because it comes through as like it came through as an email because of COVID. Normally I think it comes as a letter, but it's like confidential, cannot tell anybody until the 10th of October. I was like, well, how am I going to keep this? What am I going to say? No, it was incredible, but I don't see it as an MBE like for myself, which sounds straight. It's like an MBE for Run for Heroes, and all the people that ran it, the girls, as well as all the people that ran it and got out there and did their part. Because if it wasn't for the power of community and all those people coming together and going out in the masses, running 5 or rolling 5, donating £5, and nominating 5 of their mates, then we would have never been able to get to over £7 million. And yeah, so it's a Run for Heroes MBE. That's what we like to say. But yeah, it's amazing, and it was lovely that you know, that they put out awards for that type of thing, because just kind of make like it is still our I live, breathe Run for Heroes. Did at the time, we all did, and to just get, you know, awarded something for it is lovely. You know, it's really something that we'll be able to cherish for forever.
And I think starting your year one way and finishing it in a completely different ways. You know, you never expect a year like this is going to produce something like that for you as well. It's not how everyone imagined the beginning of the year would turn out as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
We keep reflecting on that. We're like, oh my God, 2020, it's been so difficult, but it brought us back together. It gave us it gave us the glimmer of hope when we didn't really know what was going on, and we had all this kind of uncertainty. So it's been a horrible year, but at the same time, there's been like little bits of goodness in it.
Yeah, I think seeing the pictures from everyone getting involved was just really made what a time that could have been quite depressing and really getting us down was just so inspirational, just to kind of see everyone coming together, and it just really brightened up our days and hopefully other people's.
Definitely. It's I always say, if you're wondering if you should go on a run or not, go on the run. You don't know where it might end, where you might end up. Never regret a run, exactly. Well, maybe sometimes you do. No, but exactly. We focused very much on the positivity throughout Run for Heroes within the community. We celebrated people's, you know, everybody that went their run. We celebrated everybody's 5K run, and every single one of those 5K runs or walks made such a difference. So.
And no one was able to see each other as well because it was obviously lockdown. I think it was also people were adjusting to like Zoom calls and doing this kind of thing where everyone's remote. But I think it was also being able to nominate your friends and then see them pop up on the Instagram as well. It was kind of a little extra connection with like maybe someone in Australia that you've not seen in a long time, getting them involved and kind of feeling closer when we've actually never felt further apart.
It's definitely been a year of community and bringing people together, even though we haven't been able to see each other physically. So you've got 52,500 followers on your Instagram. It's probably more now, I'm sure. But since the initial run 5K, donate £5 and nominate 5 people campaign, you're using the platform to inspire and to motivate people. You've got the hashtag Inspiring Tuesday. Tell me a little bit about that.
I think all the inspiring stories kind of came organically through the campaign in general. We obviously at the time of the campaign, we were reposting other people's content and their fives and all that kind of thing. But then in the Instagram direct messages, there were all these stories coming through of like genuinely inspiring stories. And I've never been for a run before, and now I've been going every day for 30 days, or I've been feeling really down because I've been isolating on my own, and the run's been the thing that's been getting me through it. Or people kind of doing little shout outs to their friends or their family that work in the NHS. So those inspiring stories were coming through, but obviously with the momentum of the campaign, we didn't have the opportunity to showcase them all at the time. So I think since then, it only seemed right to use the platform to kind of share those stories.
It's been lovely to be able to, repost people's pictures and show people that like as India said, it was this all-inclusive charitable campaign, and yes, it's amazing that celebrities got behind it because ultimately it spread the word more, and that's what it was really great for. But on top of that, and the most important part was people that, like India said, have never run, and now they've clocked over 200 kilometres, or people with severe disabilities that, were able to spread their 5K over 8 days. And these are the amazing stories that bring the communities together, and we wanted to share them, and we wanted to share them with the community online and encourage, inspiring content, because lots of the time Instagram is filled up with things that maybe don't seem so real. And I think we really wanted to give it kind of like a human feel, and that's why we've never shared our own selves on social media on Run for Heroes, because we don't really see this campaign at all about us. It was all about everybody that got behind it.
And I think the key word is community. It'd be a shame to build up those 50,000 people who have actually all come together. They didn't have to follow us. They didn't actually even have to tag us to get involved in the campaign. But they all had that common goal of they wanted to help and they wanted to get involved and going to be change makers. So it makes sense to kind of keep that community going, and all those people that have come together be like, there's still stuff going on and we can still kind of showcase your stories.
Yeah, I think it was important for us to keep the conversation going even when people were starting to run less. So because there was kind of such an intense period where we were getting so many inspirational stories, we didn't always have time to post them straight away. So by doing kind of an Inspiring Tuesdays or regular content later on after the campaign, it meant that we could really look back and reflect on the moments that we might not have really focused on at the time, but it just kind of reminded us of the great work that so many people did.
And we also set up Faster 5K Fridays as well, which was a Strava collaboration for the people that were probably the more professional runners, the people that are more into running, who'd already got involved in the campaign the first time. And then they wanted to do it again, or they were going for regular 5Ks and they were like, I can donate another £5. It was a way of kind of making it a bit more of a competition with yourself, and you try and beat your own time as well. So I think that was quite a good kind of good way to get that kind of running community involved in it as well.
So running 5K is a tough physical challenge, and during this past year there's been an intense focus on mental health. At Lululemon we understand the importance of mental and physical well-being, and for many people running is their meditation. How important was it to you that the campaign sought to help mental well-being as well as physical?
I think it's been something that's so apparent and throughout the campaign. It was obviously, let's go back, 8 months. It was such a weird time for everybody. It was so hard. And running, which is why the whole thing started, was that people started to run. Like, it wasn't like Run for Years made everybody run. People were actually doing it as well. That's why the whole challenge started, because there was so many people running around Arthur's Seat. It was like their kind of 30 minutes to get outside and you know, escape from the world, I suppose, slightly. And it's a message that we wanted to always carry on throughout the campaign, because for like personally, on a personal note, I don't run for fitness or, you know, that's part of it, but I do it because it's like my yoga. It's my escapism in the world, and it will give me a clear head and it will set me up for the day. So I think that was something that we were like, well, wanted to try and encourage, and it worked well, because like I said, it's a difficult time, and it still is. But I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was just a way of encouraging people as well that weren't used to maybe exercising at all and weren't used to being on their own or being at home all day. If they didn't know what to do, we were kind of saying, well, maybe try running. And if running's not for you, we did things like we worked with some influencers on Instagram and did yoga, because if we're saying if maybe running's not for you, but we'll do this live event and you can still donate £5, and that could be a way kind of trying to ground yourself or clear your head a little bit during this strange time. So it also wasn't just running. For like personally, I'm not really a runner. That's not really my form of exercise. Which is ironic considering we were doing this the whole time. But yeah, so we wanted to make sure that people didn't think it was only running. So our youngest participant crawled, apparently. So like, yeah, everyone kind of adapted it their own way, and it's just making sure people were keeping fit and active and not just staying inside all day, because we all know that's proven.
Yeah, I think mental well-being was such a core concept of the campaign, not just because it helped for the people that were actually running, but at the end of the day, one of the main causes was to help the mental well-being of NHS workers and care workers. So it's kind of like you're running to help yourself and your mind, but you're also running to help other people. So it's definitely key to us.
And do you have any advice for anyone who has an idea that they want to turn into reality? What would your advice be on taking the first step?
I think personally, like taking the first step is the hardest bit. People always talk themselves out of it. And I always say to people, if they ever have an idea, which is the mentality I take, is kind of just shut my eyes and jump in the deep end and see what happens, because you never know where you end up. The first thing, the biggest challenge, I think, was at the very beginning when I got back from the run, and my sister brought up a really, important point, and she said, I don't know if this is such a good idea, because social distancing is really key right now, and actually, should we be encouraging people to go out? And it was such a valid point, because I was like, well, you know what, we do need to, as long as in the campaign we ensure social distancing. India did an absolutely incredible graphic and GIF that we put on everybody's pictures to say always remember to socially distance, because it was such a key thing. But if we had thought, actually, you know what, maybe it's not a good idea, then we would be 7 million less off, like crazy to think about. So yeah, I suppose number one is go for it. Even sometimes, understand your risks, evaluate them, and then but try not to let it put you off. Number two, always go on a run, because you don't know what's going to happen. Benefits of running. And number three, would say that try not to think too big about it. If we had put the target as £5 million, I don't think I would have never ever set up, because that just seems absolutely ridiculous. It was like, we think small at the beginning, build upon it.
We had no expectations. I think that was kind of the key to it. It was going to be a fun thing amongst family and friends, and maybe the 20 people Olivia had originally tagged were going to be the 20 people that did it, and it might have stopped, and still that would have had an impact. There still would have been £25 going towards the NHS. So I think that having no expectation as well, and I think the naivety of us not trying to make a campaign, we didn't actually really know what we were doing. As Olivia said before, we just trusted each other's skills and just let each other get on with it, and it just so happened to work, and it became fluid, and it kind of gained momentum. But yeah, I think just having no expectations. We had small targets, and also we let the community kind of guide us as well. Like, we didn't set the targets. We said, do you think we can go for 10,000? Like, yeah, we can do it. Yeah. And then I remember once someone said, let's try and get for 1 million. We're like, what? £1 million? And it took us a while to even like kind of put that up. So yeah, just kind of letting the people that are participating as well guide the way, I think really helped it.
Yeah, I think we were just quite good at taking things step by step and embracing it when it grew, but also just not kind of overstretching ourselves. And I think it's just important to like don't let perfection get in the way of success. So just kind of try as hard as you can and keep challenging yourself, and hopefully it will pay off.
And so what's next?
Well,
so we're in the process of trying to make Run for Heroes into a charity, so that we can kind of keep the community going and set up more events in the future, so that people can continue to do their bit for kind of health and well-being.
Yeah, I think what we like, the amount of lessons that we've learned over the past year have been absolutely incredible. And I think we built this community, and we sat down and we're like, actually the first time that we met each other was in August. So we'd all been virtual, and we were like, what do we do? What do we do with all this? We've raised like £7 million. We've got 50,000 engaged community on social. And we fired over loads of ideas. And as India said, we thought, well, first and foremost, it seems natural to put this into a charitable body. We've built this community. 71% of the participants were under 34, millennial, Gen Z audience. Often the people that have been forgotten, not the charities, charity hasn't engaged them as much maybe as they should be. It's trying to engage them back into giving. And we had done that with this campaign. So we thought, why don't we turn it into a charity? So we're hopefully getting charitable status. And the main purpose of Run for Heroes will be to encourage health and well-being whilst raising money for health and well-being. It's kind of a double, edged sword, which is great. So yeah, we're first doing that and then launching our next event in May, which is really exciting. So there'll be lots more to hear about in the coming months.
I think Run for Heroes has kind of flipped fundraising as we know it a little bit. Instead of asking one person to do the activity and then asking people to contribute to them, and we're asking kind of everyone to get involved and do something really small. And I think that's why people were so engaged. But I think we need to kind of continue to take advantage of that, and the power of social media as well. And I think it's that kind of younger, engaged community is, they're engaging on social media, and it's a bit more fun as well.
Yeah, I think social media really has given individuals a massive platform to create their own change. And so I think what Run for Heroes was really good at was kind of adapting to use social media as an amazing tool. And so we're quite like a modern fundraiser where we can empower individuals to make change just by getting up from their living room and going outside. Like, they don't have to all meet at one point. You can be anywhere around the world. So I think we plan to continue to make the most of that.
Yeah, it's true. It's like I think you've just said it really well. They've sort of explained it really well, but I think it's it's just trying to engage this social media generation into how can we use that to our best ability? How can we use social to create positive change in the world? And we've shown it before, so I think it's ensuring that we're continuing that message.
Great. So we've got fun 5 questions to finish on. Fun 5. So for each of you, where would be your ideal 5K run?
So, as I said, I'm not really the biggest runner, but actually,
a good location.
well, the thing I think for me is like my scenery has to switch up. I do kind of, I'll run, and I think I'm running for 45 minutes, and then and then my Strava goes 0.5 kilometers. I'm like, oh, I've hardly started. But But during lockdown, when I was obviously doing Run for Heroes, I was running around the city, and I think a city for me is important. The scenery changes up. I ran up to the castle during lockdown, and I was like, this is so cool. There's nobody here. I think that was one really nice thing about lockdown as well.
Yeah, I'm currently in Copenhagen. So right now my favourite place to run there's some lakes in Copenhagen. So I basically run around them, treat them as a running track, and it's just great to see the city.
Mine is probably Arthur Seat. It's still to this day like my favourite run. The first thing when I come back to Edinburgh, like to home, is to do it, because I mean, how epic. It's like, it's genuinely, it's okay, I don't run up, I more run around, but...
It's pretty cool to run around an extinct volcano.
Yeah, exactly. How cool though. Yeah, we're from a city that has that in the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's your ideal running companion?
I think mine's Olivia. because there's not that competition, she does run to like clear her head, and I think if I said, I need to stop now, she wouldn't be like, but I'm trying to beat my personal best, you know, and I think that's, but I like running with people. So any friend that's not trying to beat me, I just try and beat them.
I think if I was to run with someone, it would probably be my sister, because we could just gossip along the way and I could tell her to slow down if she was going too fast. But yeah.
I feel like I should say you now, India, but
I wouldn't want to go for a run with me, don't worry.
I love taking my dog Cooper. He's a great little running companion. If I don't bring a ball, because he always puts the ball in front, which is quite annoying. But yeah, I love running with the dog. It's I don't know if you do it, but it's quite nice.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
My dog's too old.
Oh no.
What's your favourite running track? If you listen to music, or even what motivates you before you go out the door, if you don't listen to music when you run.
Well, that's the hardest bit, trying to motivate yourself.
Mine's definitely Beyonce. That actually, I feel like as we know, I don't run all the time. But if I listen to Beyonce, that seems to just let me go. Or a podcast, but normally Beyonce.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually, less music, but I love listening to podcasts when I run. So I listen to, lately I've been listening to Fern Cotton's Happy Place. And that's quite nice just to kind of hear other people talking about their perception of happiness.
What do I listen to? There's a song that came on at the very, after I was finishing, like I think it was a marathon, a half marathon, I can't remember, and Chariots of Fire, and it's just a great thing to be like, I feel great. But I'm much more of a music gal, not I need something to be motivating myself, or music that also allows me to like switch off. And I always say that it's the best bit about a run is forgetting you're on the run, because that's the hardest thing to do. But if you can nail that, if it's like a music that can get you into that, if it's more chilled out music, not like intense music, then it can kind of give you that headspace that we were talking about.
Any running tips that you have?
Mine's lay your clothes out the night before, because then you get up and you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, actually, during lockdown, I was doing it, but it was kind of the thing I did to give myself the routine as well. Or else you could just stay in and draw for Run for Heroes all day. And then work.
I think Olivia's already mentioned it, but just kind of not thinking too much about the actual running. Try to just let your mind run away about other things, and then you're kind of not worrying about how tired you are or your breath work or anything like that, and you can just find a release.
That's a good answer. I think I think the hardest thing about going on a run is actually managing to get out the door. So sometimes just set your targets small. If you're only going 1K, it's 1K better off, and actually you probably will continue to keep running, even if you get to 3K or 4K. So set your target small, and you'll end up surprising yourself. Don't be competitive. I actually personally find running apps quite hard, because I automatically start getting competitive with myself to be like, oh, can I beat my last time or whatnot? And actually sometimes it can take away the joy of it. So yeah.
And then finally, what is your own personal goal for next year? So whether it's running or something else, what have you got planned?
I've actually really kind of lost my routines around fitness a little bit this year because the gyms aren't open, and then I've come up to Edinburgh, so I'm not beside my old local gym. So for me next year, it's just making sure I have that kind of physical movement every day, whether that's just going for a walk, going for a run. I feel like lockdown was actually quite good in encouraging me to go out every single day because we had that allocation. So I made the time to go for a walk or a run. But I think I've lost that a little bit, and I want to get that routine and just set little personal goals of yoga every day or something.
Yeah, I totally agree with India. Mine would just be kind of carving out time during the day that you know you're going to do exercise, whether it's running or just going for a walk, just kind of really making time for yourself, and not always kind of putting work first or other things.
I think, what if it was a running goal? Maybe I really want to get into trail running. Okay. I feel like that would be quite fun. I don't know. Also not so competitive with like how quickly you can do it. It's more just about like, you can. But yeah, actual goals, probably just like try and keep positive, because at the moment it's it's hard to do that. So it's just like contentness and positivity, and see what 2021 brings. I'm going to read the T's and C's though. Yeah. Please tell me what's to come.
And I guess Run for Heroes has got the goal of just kind of keeping everybody active and trying to bring the community together, and
Run for Heroes is 2021's.
Yeah. Yep. It's
Exactly.
the year of.
Yeah, the year of movement.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. It was really good to chat to you.